Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Cafe. Today is an album review on Tin Drum by Japan. I believe this is 1981 this came out, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe 82. Is a UK press. I want to say it's 81. Very ahead of the time for music and pop music and new wave music and new romantic music. Just a really awesome album. And I think what makes the albums so strong is that is the individual members of the band and collectively their influence of Japanese culture is really exciting within the not really necessarily experimentation because it's still pop music, but just in the sounds and the instruments they use and the sounds they're creating, into making pop music is super cool. Super hot out today. I'm drinking iced coffee today. It's like 90 degrees out today, but its humidity is high. I'm just going to go into my notes. This will actually be probably a quicker review. I don't have a lot of notes on this album, to be honest with you. I thought I'd just do it because I was listening to it, but not necessarily a ton of things to say about the album. It's pretty straightforward. I don't know if it really hits me on like a deeper level in any particular way. I do like Sylvain's solo work a lot better. I shouldn't say a lot better than Japan, but just on a deeper note, Sylvain's solo stuff is probably a little bit more stuff that I could write upon versus Japan's pretty much kind of straightforward new wave music. But yeah, going song by song. This was released in 1981, November 28th, 1981. So the Art of Parties is the first track. It's just so funky. It's just cool guitar, keyboard groove. It really kicks off the album strong, and it's Mick Carnes is just a beast on his bass line. Like I don't know. I was going to mention it later, but it's the main thing to talk about. Is the artists themselves on here. I mean, Sylvain's voice is so unique, so sultry, and hits the right notes and does the right accents and right flow and doesn't say words just to say words. It's just, he's just on point when it comes to like a vocal, and it's so unique as well. He also plays the guitar, some keyboards as well, but just a unique and strong singer in so many ways. And then you have Mick Carnes in the bass line, just so funky in the groove, and it works so great against Steve Jansen's drumming because Steve Jansen has like he seems like laid back, and then he kind of hits into some fills, and you're like, oh, well, that was dope, and it works so well with Mick Carnes' bass line. It's just there's almost like multiple rhythms going on, even though it's pop music, because Mick Carnes is just he's just all over the place in a good way, and some of the notes his bass lines have is the fretless bass that he's playing. Some of the notes that extend and drag on a little bit, and certain bass notes are just so fat and analog sounding, and just it's so groovy at the same time. But it's just sometimes it's so quick the way he's doing it. You're just like, damn, did he hit 5 notes? When he's just needs that's just one part of the bar. Like he's just it's just, and you're just like, wow, that is silly. And again, Steve Jansen's just an underrated drummer, and he works so well within it. And then you got Richard's keyboard work on top that sometimes he hits sort of like a keyboard bass line too, and it's sort of like a rhythmic keyboard, and then there's eerie sounds and stuff like that, and there's sort of like Japanese sounds, and there's sort of a lot of them are kind of sort of drum based and kind of have like a drum resonance to them, and it kind of lends itself to the album title, which is Tin Drum, and it's just everything kind of obviously has a Japanese instrumentation to it, and then you have the other gentleman, I can't remember his name. He does some guitar on some of the songs, and he wasn't always a full-time member, but he I'm not sure if he's Japanese, but the one guy in the video for the popular video for Oil on Canvas, that live album, he's a Japanese guy, and I don't think he played with YMO, but I could be mistaken. But I know he's involved in some of the. I think he was in like a prior band that was like sort of on YMO's Yellow Magic Orchestra's like level, or maybe he was a brother of one of them or something. I can't remember the relationship there, but he just kind of goes like on a limb, like on our parties, and the guitar is just like, you're just like, wow, it's just, it just takes it to like just all over the place, and and that's really unexpected because everything's so tight and analog sounding, and I don't mean tight in a digital way, because it actually is very loose because it's analog, but that it is kind of poppy and new wave, and he's kind of like doing these crazy ad libs with like this almost like a whammy bar sound, and you're just like, wow, this is so dynamic. That's really what makes Japan so interesting and so great was their the people in the band. I don't think I think they have a lot of good songs. I think the potential was just really coming. I mean, obviously McCarnes and David Sylvain didn't get along very well, and that was rearing its head very early on, before even this album. So, if they did this when they're not necessarily at odds, and then by '82, the next year they're broken up for the most part, and then the live album comes out in '83, but that was recorded in '82. You're just like, wow, what could they have done if they did get along? It's just Steve Jansen as well, like, especially they were so advanced. It's kind of there's a double thinking I have when it comes to Japan and what they could have done. First of all, you have David Sylvain went and did Brilliant Trees in 1984, which is a brilliant album. So sonically, fidelity-wise, not sonically, audio, production-wise, the next Japan album would have been amazing. The direction was probably the issue, because Sylvain probably wants to go a little bit more towards ambient and a little bit deeper stuff, and McCarnes, that doesn't necessarily work for his bass lines. So is he just not going to play on half the songs? I'd imagine Steve Jansen and Richard, they would have kind of adjusted and stuff like that, but McCarnes kind of left out a little bit, and so there's two ways of thinking. It's like, okay, well, if they would have got along, imagine what they would have done. The production would have been great and stuff like that. But then in some ways, I feel like they were kind of stagnant a little bit because this album is so Japanese sounding. What could they have done that was, would they evolved out of Japanese sounds and sort of did like a Brilliant Trees, but in a pop way and a more new wave way? It would have been interesting, I'll tell you that much. But I don't want to say at that particular time their careers, or it would have stalled, in any sort of way, and they wouldn't have done a great album next. But it just makes you think about both sides, what could have happened, and what heights they could have reached, and I think, but then in a nice, sweet melancholy kind of looking back, it's kind of short and sweet, their career, and they still did 5 albums. It's just a different time, and a lot of things were changing from 1976 to to 81, 82. So I mean, they went through some big changes in music, and you can tell by their music as well was really changed a lot as well. And I think for the most part for the better. But they're both. I like both sides, and I know Japan fans like both sides. So but yeah, just an interesting what would have happened if they would have kept going. But yeah, Art of Party's got 3 and 3 1/4 stars, so just a little bit above very good, really strong. Talking Drum, I have 3 stars. Very good songs, unique pop, unique sounds. Kind of a little bit, wouldn't say less upbeat, but I mean it's less upbeat, but it's not a excuse me, down tempo in really any way. It's just it's kind of like a smooth pop almost in a strange way. Ghost is kind of the ballad of the album. It's kind of probably their most well known song. In many ways, maybe Quiet Life is there and a couple other songs, but Ghost seems to be like probably the most popular Japan song. Definitely the most popular ballad song. It's eerie. It's kind of sung. It's sung well. I really like the chimes and the instrumentation in it. It's certainly unique for a sort of ballad song. I got it 4 stars. It's excellent. Following it up is Canton, which I think is excellent as well. I got that at 4 stars. It's a great tribute to Japanese music. It's almost like a theme song for Japanese music. Like if you were, I would imagine that time I wasn't necessarily around in 1981 listening to Japan. I started listening to it a few years later, but I can imagine like if you heard the song back then, you would think if you're an American, you heard the song back then and you didn't know it was Japan, you would think it was like kind of like a theme song to, like, I mean, I wouldn't say the Olympics or something like that, but it's almost like like hearing Star Spangled Banner or something like that. It just sounds like a Japanese song of the nation, or I mean, it's so Japanese that it sounds, but then it's done in like a new wave analog way. It's like super cool. It's so basic for the time probably, but because of the instruments that they're using and the way they recorded and everything like that, looking back on it, it's just so interesting because it's almost like if Kraftwerk sort of did a pop song, or not even a pop song because they did pop songs, but like if they did, like a basic lullaby song or like a nursery rhyme or something like that, and you would think, oh, this is kind of basic for the time, but as the years go on, the instrumentation of and the nuances of that particular whatever made the sound is so unique for the time that it gives itself some sort of like unique character. And all I can say is that comes from using older equipment, and that's why there's such a big resurgence in vintage sounds and analog and keyboards and Moog synthesizer and modular synthesizers and stuff like that. Right? It has such a unique sound that people are looking for those different sounds versus some keyboard with some patches and stuff that are already made that are so basic that everybody has. So just another great song, 4 stars. And then another great song, right 3 in a row, 4 stars in a row. I got Still Life in Mobile Homes. It's my favorite song on the album. I got 4 1/4 stars. It's so dope. It's such an awesome song. It's such a unique pop song, and I keep saying that with this album is unique sounds, unique songs, unique style, unique artists in here. I mean, it's just all interesting stuff. Next track is Visions of China. I got 3 stars. It's solid. Sons of Pioneer, I feel like might be a little bit underrated. It's really cool. I really like the drumming. It's the longest track on there, a little bit over 7 minutes. I got it 3.25 stars. And then wrapping up, got Cantonese Boy with 3 stars too. Solid song. Another really good song. There isn't a bad song on here. When I look at the overall, I have 3 4-star songs and 5 3-star songs. Now, granted, 5 of the 5 3-stars are all on the lower side of 3.5 stars. There's none 3.25. There's none 3.5. 2 or 3.25, and 3, 2 or 3.25, and 3 are exactly 3 stars. So it's a little on the lower side when I think of the 5 stars, but then it's got 3 4-stars, so that's balancing it out pretty nicely with nothing under 3 stars. As far as the bad of the album, again, I already went through the good stuff. The production is good. I forgot to say this. Production is really good. It's a very dynamic album for 1981. Obviously, very unique. I keep saying that. Nothing like it. It's really hard to put it into words on the way the album is especially recorded, and the instruments that they use is just so unique. As far as the bad, 8 songs. Is 8 songs a little short? I'm not sure, because there is a song over 5 minutes and there's a song over 7 minutes. Actually, there's 2 over 5 minutes and 1 over 7 minutes. So in 1981, 8 songs is pretty normal then, and pushing about, it's probably pushing 38 minutes or so like that. It's pretty normal. So I wouldn't say it's so short. I will say maybe a few songs has similar instrumentation. I feel like maybe the Japanese sound gets a little bit long in the tooth a little bit, because there's Visions of China, Cantonese Boy, then you got Canton and Art of Parties. A lot of them sort of use similar kind of sounds, maybe from the keyboards and stuff like that. But it's a very, very small thing I would point out, and that's maybe a small part of why maybe David Sylvain felt like they kind of ran the gamut, and there was really no upside to the band staying together, and for him to go solo is because there was nothing left to do. They've kind of done what they've done. I mean, I can't imagine David Sylvain getting any more pop music than this. And this isn't really pop at all. I mean, it's pop, but it's not like over the top. And I don't think he would get any darker or dancier. So, I mean, the only thing he could do was go solo and do what he wanted. But really strong album. I got a 77 of 100. Right on the middle, right in between the middle of very good and almost excellent. Like 77, very strong album. Almost excellent. Probably a song away, or maybe an original idea away, or maybe some unique kind of piece away. Maybe it could have been another song as strong as Still Life in Mobile Homes. Like, I want to think if one of the other tracks that I really liked by them was on. Trying to think of like Quiet Life. Like, if Quiet Life was a song like that would be on here, I think that would take it up to 80. Production wise, artwork is cool. I like the minimal grays and stuff like that. Everything is cool. Nicely produced, nicely recorded. No qualms about that at all. I would even say it sounds better than a lot of albums that are in the middle 80s. It's strong for the time. It's far above average recording for sure, and just a lot of unique songs on here. But just maybe a little bit away from excellent for me. And maybe that has to do with them maybe not getting along so much during the recording of this album. Maybe that was it. Band members sort of leaving on this one album too, and kind of playing on a couple songs but not, might cause some stress. Some creative differences. Maybe this album felt like it was kind of pushed out because they weren't doing well. There could be so many reasons why. But overall, it's really strong album. Very underrated album, too. It doesn't get mentioned enough. I don't think Japan really gets mentioned enough as a artist. In a perfect world, they would have kind of. Maybe I shouldn't say perfect world because David Sylvain did some amazing stuff after this, but could they have been as big as Duran Duran? Probably not, because they didn't sell out like Duran Duran did and do corny videos and stuff like that, and show ladies and stuff like that, like half naked and stuff like that. But it's just unfortunate because it's such I don't want to say intelligent music, but it's such classy, well thought out, mature music that sounds very hip for the time, and you just kind of feel a little sad for it that it wasn't more recognized. And that's what happens with music that's more advanced for the time, is it doesn't fully catch on with everybody, not till years later. And then even years later, you're like, well, it wouldn't have made, for the time it was just, it wasn't pop enough, it wasn't straightforward enough, it wasn't them selling out and doing videos and being on MTV and stuff like that. But this is 1981, so this is right before that. So we'll never know if they were kind of forced into. They never really did, as far as I know. I think they only maybe did one video. There's some live. I really encourage you to check out the Oil and Canvas live album at. I think it's at Odo Hammersmith, right? Hammersmith. It's recorded at Hammersmith. I think they did 3 last dates at Hammersmith, and it's a great recording album. There's a lot of video of it online, so if you're curious, I have a friend that has a reaction channel. It's called Fish Out of Water, and if you look up Japan, like still life art of parties reaction, or Japan Canton reaction, or still life of mobile homes reaction. I sent a few of the Japan videos to him to review, and he really liked it, and his reaction's great. And I won't tell you what's really cool about his reactions to that, but it's definitely Mick Karn's related to his bass playing, and he really got a chance to dig them. So it was cool to see somebody who'd never heard Japan kind of listen to them and actually watch them live and react to them. So if you get a chance, do a search on Japan reaction. A lot of Japan music will come up. You just put Japan reaction, but maybe put Japan or David Sylvain reaction, or actually put Japan reaction, Fish Out of Water, or Fish. And I think there's like 5 videos that he did where there's actually another probably 3 or 4 Sylvain ones I asked him to review too. I think I did Happiness, Bring Back the Happiness, and I think Dreaming, which I love, and of course Nostalgia, which is great, and maybe 2 other songs that I asked him to review that he did, and he was blown away by Nostalgia. He just watched the reaction on him listening to Sylvain's Nostalgia. He's just like, this is awesome. It's just a really cool reaction channel he has. And so check out those videos. They're really cool. But yeah, what's your opinion on Tin Drum and Japan overall? Like, be curious what your thoughts are, just in general. I don't want to ask what your favorite Japan songs. Just maybe this. Your thoughts on Japan overall. Maybe Tin Drum, the album, or what would happen if they made another album? What do you think? Do you think that was possible, or do you think it was smart that they went their separate ways, or do you wish that they would have done one more album, and what would it have sounded like? So I appreciate you watching today. Thanks for staying with me here. Sometimes my videos are long, and I apologize about that, but hopefully you appreciate that I just kind of go off the top of my head and just kind of talk about music and things like that before writing it down or having, you know, any kind of script or, you know, hopefully you just appreciate me talking like we're talking about music. As if you were here, you know, as if you were here in the Aquasphere, which is my name for my music room. Sometime I'll do a video and we'll go around the room, and this is my CD room, and we'll go to my vinyl room and my DJ room, and then my music appreciation room, and show you all the different stuff that I have and all the cool memorabilia and stuff that I have. Maybe I'll do a video of that stuff sometime. But I appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. Take care.